Uh, and Yodi, I just had to go live because I just opened Twitter and I just couldn't believe my eyes, dude. I can explain the title. I just opened Twitter. Some shit came across my timeline and I couldn't understand it, dude. I could not fucking understand it. Hold up. I was on a laptop, so I need to figure out. I need to find the tweets. But dude, I literally couldn't believe it. I had to just go live. It was fucking insane. When do you become a drama channel? Listen, okay, so I was working on the video, okay? The video should come out today. We condensed the 6-hour VOD into like an hour. Or Yayaka convinced the 6-hour VOD into an hour. But now I need to condense it into like a more digestible format. Which that's what I was basically in the middle of doing. So I went to Twitter to basically like double check a couple of things. And then this tweet came across my fucking timeline. This fucking tweet. I'm searching for it right now. This. What the fuck is this? What is the context of this? What does this mean? What? Natural gas is discovered in Qatar. Wooting has to tell people not to click on furry porn. Zuni
is raiding with a party of 135.
Zuni, I was not planning on streaming today. Okay? I was not planning on streaming today. However, all right, while I was working on a video, editing down yesterday's stream, I opened Twitter and this shit came across my timeline. And I'm like, what the fuck happened while I was asleep? What do you mean? Did Wooting like respond to this shit? Like what? So I went to Wooting's Twitter account, okay? Wooting. And I'm like, oh shit. They followed up. They followed up on this garbage tweet. Well, okay, all right. I think it's fair. I think it's fair to just go all out and say that this was a terrible response from Wooting. Like I think everyone from the Osu community agreed that like they should kind of like they shouldn't get involved in this sort of discussion. So we were talking about this yesterday, but this morning they actually responded. I didn't realize they responded until I actually like looked at their page. So I was reading through this. And I was like, okay, this is actually a pretty fair response. This actually makes a lot of sense. And I actually agree with everything here. Until the very last part. Don't visit the profile unless you're into furry porn. Also a bit ironic that this ends up being the best explainer. And I'm like, what? What? Wait. I just spent literally like 4 minutes reading through a really well explained like explanation behind Wooting's philosophy of trying to innovate within the keyboard sphere, trying to push the boundaries, but also having this concern of walking this fine line between introducing features that allow players to unlock their potential and cheating, right? That's interesting. What the fuck is this? What is this? And so I scroll down and I'm like, wait, Zuni, please explain. And they responded to this. What is going on, dude? What is going on? So I haven't looked into this any further, but we're gonna do that live and hopefully not get banned. All right. So, out of caution, I'm gonna open this in a separate tab on a separate monitor and look into this. Let's start from the very beginning. Let's start from the very beginning. Okay, if you weren't here yesterday, all right, and you missed out, all right. Basically, Cloutiful accused of a bunch of accused of being sus because of his hold times. All right, their hold times were very suspicious because they were very consistent around 63 milliseconds for his DT plays, 42 milliseconds, which is what's called 63 divided by 1.5, blah 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 blah. It was basically later exposed that he was using Wooting's dynamic keystroke function to basically cheat, get lower unstable rates, better accuracy, etc. And what was crazy was that Wooting chimed in on this discussion, or at least like asked this pretty fair discussion or pretty fair question. And I was like, I was not a fan of this. Okay, while I was offline, I did see, okay, Cloutiful is banned. Chud's son is gone. Dude's profile is gone. I still had the tab open when he got restricted. So I was literally like, wait, he's restricted. I have like the final view on his profile. And what's crazy is that when a player gets restricted, their data doesn't load anymore. This is so sick. Like, I can't even see any of his ranks or profile stats. Even if you have his profile open, it just stops loading it when they're restricted. And I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. So you can see, after I refresh, he's gone. He's gone. There was like a discussion at the end of yesterday's stream that was like, does Osu actually see this as, like, is dynamic keystroke actually like a bannable offense? Which I was on the fence and leaning more towards like, well, technically speaking, he's still like, it kind of seems fine on a surface level, at least until Emrek's tweets and everyone else's tweets popped off, showcasing just how fucking broken the mechanic is. So that was a learning opportunity for me as well. Okay. Anyways, from this situation, Cloutiful got banned after the stream, and Wooting dropped what's called this sort of discussion, trying to basically clarify what's going on with dynamic keystrokes that actually makes this like a problem, if you will. And so I think this response is actually pretty good. Let's read through it together then. All right. Thanks to the OSU community for explaining in more detail how this key behavior can be exploited in the game. This was a genuine question. We are always concerned about the subject of cheating as we walk a fine line with every feature we introduce. We encourage players to be creative with the features we introduce, as it opens up new gameplay and possibilities that we simply can't imagine ourselves. DKS is one of those features that can be configured to behave akin to a macro, but it wasn't made to behave as a macro. The DKS settings in question the DKS setting in question isn't configured as a macro. Instead, it changed the key behavior from activating on press to activating on release, like a reverse press. This is why we're also talking about like the concept of an upside down keypad, like two keypads upside down and literally just moving your finger up and down through it, if that makes any sense, right? Like we were like theorizing, like technically speaking, that's actually, you know, legal, right? No macros are being used. You're just using two keyboards. So where's the line drawn? Why is the line drawn here? Anyways, let's continue. This in itself doesn't raise any flags in terms of your standard cheating applications, macros, automation, timers, assists. And we aren't deep enough into OSU, the scene, to completely grasp how these key behaviors can be exploited in an unfair advantage. This is why we rely on players such as yourself and the feedback you provide to get a deeper understanding. In this case, the DKS setting in question can give a clear unfair advantage by achieving high accuracy in streaming sections with a double tap motion, which usually can only be achieved with alternating tap motion. Whereas an alternating tap motion requires a significantly greater level of skill to execute than the double tap motion. I'd say from an outsider's perspective, who's someone who doesn't really go into the ins and outs of OSU, this is a very good surface level understanding of the situation at hand. All right. What would normally be considered a motion for single tapping, all right, instead basically allows you to do two things at once now. All right. Very interesting. Very surface level take. It basically hits the nail on the coffin. Links to the rules, which we also looked at yesterday because I was also curious about this. What does the OSU rules specifically say on this? Which, there's this expert that's literally taken directly from the rules, which is this right here. This is an exact copy-paste from here. So, Fair play, using third-party utilities of any kind to get any sort of advantage is not okay. This includes things like macro programs, aim assist programs, timescale modification, and so on. If a program is doing something to help you play the game that you shouldn't be doing yourself, it isn't okay. This is literally copied and pasted directly from Osu's rules. And in yesterday's stream, we were also talking about, like, yo, should there be a more in-depth explanation, like, actually outlining what this means? However, it seems to be good enough to basically come to a conclusion, as Osu's support has already banned Cloutiful. It is against the rules, and it seems, all right, we don't have it from Cloutiful's perspective directly, but it seems that they knew that they were engaging in some level of foul play, as it seems like they were intentionally attempting to hide it. That they knew what they were doing was, at least to a certain extent, suspicious. Okay? So, yeah. From our understanding, the DKS setting crosses the following line. If a program is doing something to help you play the game that you should be doing yourself, it isn't okay. DKS, a program, helps you imitate an alternating motion with high accuracy using a double tap motion. An alternating motion you should be doing yourself. This doesn't automatically mean that the DKS setting is considered unfair play in other games. Each game has its own rule set, and this particular DKS setting isn't crossing the standard tick box. You could argue that removing a feature such as DKS can help promote fair play, but that doesn't solve the universal problem. And this is what I agree with Wooting on. There were some people in chat trying to say, like, yo, guys, ask Wooting to remove DKS from the Wooting Uwu, or disable this feature if it detects Osu, or something like that. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. Wooting shouldn't assume the responsibility for that shit. It's up for the community to, like, decide that stuff. I think Wooting excels in being able to innovate. Let them innovate without the what's called the red tape of trying to confide to other games, right? I think that would be best. Anyways, you can argue that removing such a feature such as DKS can help promote fair play, but that doesn't solve the universal problem, because this isn't a unique situation. For example, any keyboard with onboard macros can be exploited for cheating, and with the increasing amount of other Hall effect keyboards replicating our features, they'll happily keep these features if it helps sells them more keyboards. This is also a fact, okay? Chat, I've started getting a suspicious number of, like, requests to cover this rapid trigger keyboard, this rapid trigger keyboard. Oh, here's another rapid trigger keyboard. And it's made me realize that, like, rapid trigger isn't anything that's too new anymore. I think specifically Hall effect switch keyboards are starting to become the norm. All right, it's becoming a lot more accessible, which is awesome. All right, innovations within the keyboard space is appreciated, and I love to see it. So yeah, and I do think it's dope that Wooting was the one who basically paved the way for it. I mean, they didn't invent Hall effect switches. Like, I'm pretty sure their first Wooting was, like, their Lecker switches were literally just a rehashed version of the Gateron KS20 switch, if I recall correctly. So it's really just like, it's really the software that kind of makes it very innovative. But I digress. Okay, that's for another day. I also do remember seeing, like, if anyone can find this article, you're a GOAT. Okay, you are the absolute champ. I can't find this article anymore. I swear, I remember Wooting made a article saying that their objective behind the HE60 or the Hall effect line of keyboards is to make it, is to make a dent in the industry to get everyone else to adopt this technology. Like, their mission behind the Hall effect keyboards is to make other companies realize that this technology is the way forward, and they want other people to adopt it. I don't know where that article went. I don't know what happened to it, but if anyone, one of you guys can find that, that'd be great. all I know is, like, it was like either like a Wooting official blog, like on their website, like it was on their website directly through like some blog or something. I forgot. But anyways, it's challenging to combat this and begs the question of what hardware makers can do with software makers to create an environment encouraging fair play. A question we'd love to tackle with any developer open to this discussion and work toward. It's a question that a question we'd love to tackle with any developer open to the discussion and work towards something we can apply universally. And then I can't tell if this is legit or if they're joking, but rip social guy for Wooting. Unlucky. It's a joke? Okay. Scroll down. I feel like every single time I scroll down, I'm like taking a risk that like a giant like cock appears on my screen. Chat, the reason why I decided to go live today was specifically because of this. My jaw dropped when I saw this. Disclaimer, don't visit the profile itself unless you're into furry porn. This is not a statement that I would expect coming out of Wooting. Of all places. Wooting promotes furry porn? Are you fucking serious? Anyways, I gotta go look. What are you... I mean, I guess if you're into that, but... Okay, now I'm curious. Hold up. Chat, you guys can't see my second monitor, can you? Okay, I clicked on the tweet. I did click on the tweet, and it seems to be safe, alright? It links to this. And it is a post from Hutter. With a red circle and a slash over the number 18. Implying that it is 18 plus. But anyways, let's actually watch this. Wooting says that this is actually like the best explanation of the situation. Here's why dynamic keystroke is bad and against the rules.
So here's why dynamic keystroke is bad for the game, since obviously you don't get why. So right now I'm using the exact same settings Cloutiful is using. So if I were to play a long stream like this by just double tapping like Cloutiful was doing.
My brain.
You would see I SS the stream, you know. That's pretty good accuracy. So now let's see what that would look like if I were to use my regular settings. You know, no dynamic keystroke, just regular settings. I'm gonna double tap the stream again. Same thing I did last time. This is exactly what I did. And you would see, wow, that's really bad accuracy. Because I'm not actually tapping the stream. I'm just double tapping it. And that is why dynamic keystroke is bad. It makes the game very easy to play. You're not actually tapping any of the notes, but you're still getting rewarded the accuracy as if you were tapping the notes. It's kind of like using a macro. Like in this example, I have Z set so that it activates when I go down and when I go up. And so I'm going to go into Osu, and I'm only going to use my left key. I'm going to single tap the stream.
Yo!
96% accuracy. All I did was single tap. And then, according to rules, macros aren't playing fair. So, this obviously wouldn't be okay. But this is the same thing as this. So, there's no reason.
That's a good point.
Okay. Hopefully this explains everything.
That's a really good point. I think the first half of this explanation, I was kind of like big question mark because it's like a person explaining what double tapping is, which I guess for Wooting, if they didn't look too far into the game, it's such a fringe, like it's a cheese mechanic, right? It is a like sort of fringe thing that does need an explanation for someone who doesn't really know about the game. I feel like anyone who has played the game for a substantial amount of time knows or eventually stumbles across the double tap / mashing cheese mechanic, right? And this basically makes it rewarding. But that second explanation I think is actually the best, right? How this the settings that that Cloutiful used to cheat are effectively the same thing as binding a single key to have a downstroke and upstroke keystroke, right? Remove the double tapping out of the equation. You're basically making one gigantic key that can activate down and up, right? You take a single tap and turn it into 2 keys, right? Basically. So, fucking great. But there's the elephant in the room.
So here's why dynamic keystroke is bad for the game, since obviously you don't get why. So right now I'm using the exact same settings.
I'm kind of curious. You guys can't see my monitor, right? It can't be that bad, right? You have like 3 tweets of buffer, but even showing it on stream regardless would be stupid. All right. I'll do you guys a solid. I'll click it so you guys don't have to. I think my monitor is clear. Okay, it doesn't look that bad. Wait. Okay. Never mind, and Yodi, you're right. Okay, so it seems like they are aware. Don't know what's worse, the fact that the Osu community knows of this account now, or the fact that they know that I use Linux. This was crazy to wake up to either way. I'm not at all upset or anything. I'm always happy to help explain things. The whole situation is just incredibly funny to me. So if you directly click on their profile, it's not that bad. At least until you start scrolling down just a little bit more. And this is like the point of no return. Important disclaimer. This account is a furry porn account. Don't click on it if you don't want to see that shit, or if you're under 18, please, and thank you. Let me just double check to make sure. I'm pretty sure this should be fine to show. But let's just do, just to be on the air of caution, let's just you can imagine the rest of the context, okay? What the fuck? Dude. This is an account that's literally referenced in Wooting's tweet. I can't. I literally can't. And the shit that came out of this, dude. And the shit that came out of this is just comedy gold. What the fuck, dude? They're doubling down with it too. Emrek is here. Oh, what's up, Emrek? How old are you again? What the fuck, dude? Or maybe they're just picking the top 32 players or something.
To my furry account. If it makes you feel any better, you're one of the main reasons I started playing OSU.
That was you! That was you! You're the furry guy! What the fuck? Wait, suspiciously wealthy furry. No, I've heard about you then. I've heard about people about furries who are like secret multi-billionaires who like have like dedicated walk-in closets in their 18,000 square foot mansions that are just stacked with racks and racks and racks of fursuits that are like handmade and shit. That's you, right? Fursuits are like 5K. Yeah, but that's easy money for you, right? Oh shit, Jake, what's up? Jake, we were talking about Wooting promoting furry porn. Real. No, that's actually real. That was like the topic of today's stream. It was actually insane. Like, look at this tweet. So basically, big TLDR, number 3 player was exposed for cheating. They were using a what's called? They're using a feature native to the Wooting's utility software to basically use it in a way that makes it that gives them an unfair advantage. Let's just say that, right? Wooting says, "How is this cheating? What the fuck?" Community fucks them up. Even Air U popped off. All right, let's go. All right. Wooting then makes a follow-up response. All right. And for some reason, they sign off by saying, disclaimer, don't visit the profile itself unless you're into furry porn. Also a bit ironic that this ends up being the best explainer. And you guys know me, all right? I'm a man of the people, okay? I went to the dude's profile, so you didn't have to. And I can say, it's not for me, but it does exist.
Cinema.
Thank you, Jake. Silaris, dude, someone... I forgot what the context of this was for, again. But, like, Fiery invited me onto, like, their team for a tournament. And I was like, okay, sure. Because I was, like, playing in every single tournament at that time. But what I didn't realize that, like, his team was literally just a bunch of furries. And no one told me. So then, like, when the roster was revealed, I'm like, all right, boys, let's go. And then everyone else was on Twitter like, why the fuck is Ed on a furry team? I'm like, huh? What? And then next thing I know, someone made a fursona of me on Twitter. It was like blue. And like it was like the photo of me standing in front of that White House holding up a can of Yif fuel. And I was like, what's Yif? What does Yif mean? I wish I didn't ask that question. Life was better before that moment. But sometimes life moves on. Azer! That photo is iconic! Chat, does anyone have that photo of Wowie holding corn? Shit, dude. Oh, man, I forgot about that. Utiva, maybe if we start doing exclusive content. Hell yeah. Doesn't he hate that image? Come on, man. Do you want me to commission art of your first song? I appreciate the offer. It's all good, half troller. I wouldn't want you to do that. Wait, instantly found it? Of course you would fucking find it, derpy! Happy birthday at BeastTrollMC. I heard you are now officially furry and planning to buy a fursuit in the future, so I made you a little gift that you would come to love. Come on, Ed, react harder! Do something! Do something! My content! Y'all are fucking weird.
So I'm gonna be scrapping my next portrait of you.
No!
I'm just gonna draw your fursona then.
No! That's my boy. Yeah, it was this one. It was this
Y'all
one.
are fucking.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is YIF fuel? Like, it's obviously a G Fuel thing. What does YIF mean? Don't Google it.